Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. So this is early access for Amazon Prime members. Got to see the film a little bit earlier than the rest of everybody. Film officially opens on the 11th. I got to see it with a bunch of people tonight at Rio Cinemas, and it was a pretty good experience, except for the fact that freaking theater almost played the wrong damn movie. So I got there like an hour early, and I figured it would be packed by the time I got there, but they were still clearing out the theater when I time I got to the actual theater, got my snacks and everything. Sitting there waiting, and they almost played a Jurassic Planet or whatever it's called. Whatever they call it now. I haven't paid attention to Jurassic Park since the original in '93. So, and once the film actually started, it was actually pretty good. And I enjoyed it. I like it. I really do. Like, if you understand the comics, I think you'll get something out of this. If you're just looking at it to just look at something nitpick, you'll probably drive yourself crazy because a lot of the scenes in this film are taken straight from the comics, 1930s comics in particular. Max Fleischer, Richard Fleischer cartoons, where you're just fighting random villains and interacting with random threats. A big ass dinosaur like this dragon thing. It actually happens pretty early on in the movie. One of my favorite parts, actually. This scene is actually what got me more excited about the movie. There's a few things that personally I probably would have taken out of the film. I could have done with a couple of less characters. I think could have been cut out of the movie. Not really a spoiler. It is pretty packed with what they have in the film. No spoilers, but it is pretty packed. Like this is definitely a launch point, a launch pad for the DC universe. I mean, what better character to use it as? You start that with in Superman, of course, but I still think it could have been condensed to a much smaller film, smaller setting, smaller threats. So this has always been the problem with these studios. I always think that bigger is better, and truth is, sometimes less is more. And that's definitely the case with this film. Uh, it's a good film. I'm not trying to nitpick it to death or anything. I mean, it's not perfect. It's a good film. I like it. Corn Sweat is fantastic in the role. He embodies everything Superman's supposed to be. My favorite iteration of Superman to this day is probably still Smallville, only because he had the most development as the character without the suit and all that extra stuff. Because they focus on the character, what makes Superman what he is. I think that's really important when you have a character like this that people always think. People always say he's just this overly powerful dude that doesn't go through anything or experience anything. And even in the film, he straight up says that being human is my greatest strength to Luthor. Let's note another highlight. The highlights of this movie to me are Orange Sweater's Clark Kent, Superman, and Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Luthor was a very interesting take on the character. Came across to me a little more of a brat than a straight up criminal mastermind. He is pretty smart in this, but It's a very different version of what we've seen previous iterations. Gene Hackman was very wacky, but he was still smart enough. Kevin Spacey was a little wacky and just I couldn't get a read in his version of Luthor. Uh, Eisenberg was more a birthright version of Lex Luthor, that college-ish type of Luthor, younger, still highly intelligent, a little goofy, but I feel like Holt was trying to take a little bit from Michael Rosenbaum's Luthor from Smallville, because he said he and Quantrill grew up with Smallville as I did. So that's kind of a cool, nice nod to that. Like I feel like the a lot of the random incidents again were taken from the Max Fleischer cartoons in the 30s. And people like, "Oh, this is like an animated series." I was like, "This was super animated series." He would got knocked across the city and got his ass knocked out, and then Batman would show up and save his sorry ass. That's exactly what would have happened. This is from an animated series, so it's not going on that route. The animated series is immensely flawed. It doesn't embody Superman in the slightest, but aside from nostalgia. But it's a good film. It really is. I like it. I'm not sure what else I can say without giving anything away. But again, there's a lot packed into this, but I think it's balanced pretty well. I might have to see it again just to be sure. But again, I would have taken a couple characters out personally. It's not a spoiler, but I would have taken Metamorpho out completely. Did not need him. Mr. Terrific, don't need him. Lantern is guard Earth. Hawkgirl's alright, I guess. I'm like, yeah. I don't know. I could get what he was going for, but get what he was going for, but I don't like my superhero movies to be jam packed with characters. I mean, the roles they had were they worked for the movie or the story being told. Fine, it's an established universe. Heroes exist, meta-humans exist. Okay, fine. Personally, I would have preferred to see Flash or Wonder Woman. If you're going to have like a team up of sorts where these characters exist already, give me someone I actually give a damn about. Wonder Woman, Flash, Lantern. Lantern show was on the way, but no one likes Guy Gardner, man. What a Lanterns to pick. Could at least gone with Kyle Rayner or something. No one ever uses Kyle Rayner. Ever. Fillmore Ray, Kilowog. I'm sure he's dead. Anyone but Hal Jordan would be great, in my opinion. I'm sick of Hal Jordan. I really am. But, yeah, it's an interesting film. Um, Again, it's not perfect. It's definitely not 10 out of 10. It's more like a 7.5, I would say, for me. It is a little too packed, in my opinion. There's a lot going on. It really is. And that was my concern from the beginning. But the performances are pretty good. I like Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. I was hoping she would have purple eyes or contacts, obviously. Purple eyes like the animated series. Because she looks like she worked out an animated series, honestly. She's pretty good. We actually get an actual Jimmy Olsen in this instead of having a shot or whatever in the Man of Steel universe. He's actually in the movie for more than 5 minutes, which is nice. Yeah, I'm not sure what else I can really say at this point. The movie comes out in like what 3 days, so I will definitely check it out. If you're a comic book fan, you'll probably enjoy something about it. If you want to nitpick the crap out of it, then nitpick it. But this can drive you so crazy because you're never going to be satisfied with whatever Gunn decides to do. This is his vision. whatever he envisioned that's what he's going to do. I would have just done a simple story about Luther creating Metallo or Parasite and to do something like that, make it a simple story, and then build from there. But he wanted this to be a launch pad for the DC universe, which I get. And it's like, I think there was a way that it could have been done better than throwing all of this into this film, which was my initial concern when this was announced. And my mind really hasn't been changed even after seeing the film a little bit earlier than most. But I still enjoyed it. I would definitely watch it again. I definitely buy it on digital when it comes out on digital. I would definitely recommend seeing it on the silver screen. I think this is one of those films that needs to be seen on the silver screen, especially when he's actually doing Superman stuff, which he does a lot in the film for once, finally. No, I gotta give all my powers for this chick or any of that nonsense in the 1970s movies. Some stuff felt like a rehash, but it's done again. I think it's done a little bit better. The engineer chick is from The Authority, which I'm just like, why are we doing The Authority in the first film? Most people ain't gonna know who she is. So I was a little confused with that. I'm like, okay, even I've never heard of The Authority, but most people going to see this are gonna be confused with her. She served a purpose in the film, but I'm just like, yeah. I guess we'll see what happens going forward because I really don't know what they're gonna do with Luther going forward because they concluded the film in a very interesting place. A lot of these characters, it's not closed off or anything. It's definitely open ended. That is, I don't think there's really a linear plan for the DC universe at this point in time. As far as like planning Justice League and Darkseid and all of that, it doesn't seem to be a linear plan. Just a bunch of random projects. This guy's got a Clayface movie coming out for crying out loud. Clayface. The new Batman film hasn't even started the script as far as I know. The Matt Reeves one is finally finished, but his film featuring the worst Robin to ever wear the mask, Damian Wayne. I don't think that's even close to being done. I don't think he's cast anybody yet for Batman or Damian or any of the other characters going to be in the movie. So that's I'm a little concerned with that. If you're gonna have a new universe, you need to establish your core characters first before you bring in your D-listers like Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho. Core characters: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Lanterns, Green Arrow, Black Canary. Shit, throw in Cyborg if you have to. But establish your core characters first. And Mr. Terrific was okay, I guess. I still don't really care that much about the character. His role worked for the most part, I suppose. I don't know. I never cared much for the character. The last time he was in live action with that stupid was that Green Arrow show. They had him play for the Rainbow Team or something. I never been bothered watching that season for numerous reasons. I guess the best way I can say it was okay. It's not a perfect film. It's not. Doesn't need to be. I just wish it was telling a smaller story and not just. It's not a mess or anything. I just wish it was telling a smaller story, a simpler story. Because it's easy to get lost when we've got this going on, that going on, this character here, that character there. I mean, when you're writing a book, like I write books, I'm an author. So in a book, it's easier to balance all that stuff out than when you have a 2 hour feature film where you're establishing a new universe. And I mean, to be fair, they open with explanation that metahumans exist and have existed for years. So that's fine. I still would have condensed the amount of characters in the film. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. That I don't think it needed that many characters in this film. I think he was trying to do too much in a way. It doesn't make it a bad film. I just think it could have been handled better. Some of these characters could have been pushed out completely. Metamorpho is probably at the top of that list, in my opinion. Because I'm just sitting down and like, why is this dude here? Like, he's setting up a lot of stuff in this one movie. And it all centers around Superman. So that's not really the issue. And to be fair, it is balanced fairly well because Gunn is a fan. And again, a lot of the incidents in the film are taken right out of the comics. I still would have condensed the amount of characters in the movie. Just that was the problem with about the previous universe, where they were just trying to do too much right out the gate. Didn't let nothing breathe or develop properly. And that's how we got those off Justice League movies without Superman and blah blah blah. Just, yeah. And people be like, "Oh, but what about Captain America: Civil War?" Captain America: Civil War is like the 10th movie in the MCU that's a long established franchise. Not the first Captain America movie where you're just getting to know the character. So that's the I think hopefully this can get better as we go along in this universe. I don't think he needed to cram as much as he did in this just to make it a launch pad for a DCU. And that has always been my concern with this film. No one always came across as, oh, you're just hating him. Like, no, I'm just a concerned comic book fan. So I want to see good Superman movies. I want to see good Batman movies. I want to see a good Flash movie. Haven't had one yet, so I probably have to see it again just to make sure my thoughts are still aligned. But one thing I will say, I think it's a little too modernized in the present day. Uh, the social media thing, I don't think that really fits well with Superman lore. I could have done without some of that. But you don't need that stuff. with the guy that literally too busy to worry about the internet in the first place. Like Superman is flying around the globe, saving bridges from collapsing or trains from falling off the tracks. When in the world is he going to be looking at the internet? Like when? You look at the 1978 film, he ain't looking at the damn internet. He's saving the freaking world. Like, so that's another negative I have for the film. Someone like Superman, someone like Batman, you're gonna give two damns about the internet, what goes on. So that's where I think the writing was a little poor, especially with Luthor and his strange social media plot. I'm like, okay. Let's say this version of Luthor comes across as more of a brat than a straight up mastermind. We had a little surprised by, honestly. And Hope played Nicholas Hope played the character pretty well. So that's not really an issue for me. I could have done without the social media stuff. Yeah, just I don't think it was necessary. But like that, the clips have been online for a while, so his name is spoiler. But yeah, the dragon fight. But it might be the one part that got me more excited about the movie. Closer I got the release, because early, especially his early access release thing. It probably would have been home sooner if I hadn't started to play the wrong damn movie at the theater. These meatbags, everybody's sitting in the theater, then they play the wrong damn movie. Freaking Jurassic Planet or whatever it's called. Whatever it's called now. I had no idea that they still made those. The only one that matters to me is the 1993 film. It was like, I imagine this in the beginning of this review. I feel like these studios think that more is better than just telling a simple story. And it's really not true. Smaller stories are better. They're better for world building. They're better for character. And ultimately, it's better for connecting with your characters because when you have so much going on, it's tough to form a connection with the characters you're supposed to be following. And that's the problem with having so many damn heroes running around. Like, well, who am I supposed to root for? Well, obviously they're good people, but it's like, I guess if you look at it as like Superman inspired these other heroes, okay, I guess. I mean, in that case, it's fine, I suppose. Just, I would have preferred to keep it simple versus here's XYZ and now we're going to launch this entire universe through this one film. I mean, at least give me a Superman trilogy before you start throwing in the rest of the DC universe, which is why I've always been calling this Superman called co-star in DC universe. But again, no spoilers, but it's good. I like it. I'll tell you this, I liked it more than the last Marvel film I saw. Boring ass Sam Wilson Captain America. Because I rented that dopey film a while ago and I'm like, There's no scenario in this movie where Sam doesn't get squashed like a bug by the Red Hulk. No one. I don't care what kind of technology he has. There's no scenario where Sam is not getting squashed like a bug. As far as this film goes, I mean, I gave it a shot. It's okay. It's all right. I like it. I mean, I don't hate it or anything. I just, I think I need to let this one sink in for a bit. But it's enjoyable. If you know the comics, you should get something out of it. And like when Superman's on screen, that's actually really cool. I just wish there was a little bit less going on. It can be tough to follow, which is where I'm going with this. It can be tough to follow when you have so much going on. That type of stuff works in comics because you're used to turning the page like, oh, we're in Metropolis, and okay, now we're in Gotham City, now we're in Central City. In a movie, that can be tough to do because you're so time constricted. You have 2 hours to tell your story. And even someone as talented as James Gunn, I think it's a struggle sometimes when you have so much going on to find that balance. I think it worked for Guardians of the Galaxy because that's a film about multiple heroes. I don't think it works with Superman. Not in the first movie. I don't think it works with this particular character. It's like, oh, but these are his work friends, those are his hero friends. Like, fine, but you don't need to have that many. And it's only like three, I guess four if you include Metamorpho, I guess. But I don't know. It's okay, I guess. I give it like a 7.5 out of 10. It should do pretty well this weekend, opening weekend. No doubt it's going to beat out Jurassic Planet or whatever it's called. Fantastic Four looks like shit, so I'm probably going to skip that one. I have zero desire to see that movie. None. Freaking Ricky Ricardo, Reed Richards. Get the frick out of here, Marvel. Pedro Pascal's stupid mustache. Oh man, Marvel's turning into a joke. And I'm just like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, so where do we go from here? Because I heard rumors about Brainiac being set up for a potential sequel. And there are post-credit scenes, but there's nothing they really need to stay for. Just Superman and Krypto on the moon, and Superman and Mr. Terrific looking at a building. You can literally leave after the movie ends. Sadly, they only play the Superman theme a couple of times in the theater. It's kind of open for like an open credit sequence, like back in the day. But it's something that gets you excited for when the movie's opening. Like when the 1978 movie started, you got that awesome John Williams score and the opening credits. Not saying it needs to be identical to that, but it would have been cool to see that score again. It's in there briefly, but and I got a thing for opening credits in movies like '89 Batman and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man film with opening credits in the web, and the 1970 Superman opening credits for the first two anyway. I don't know why there's no credits in three. I never saw four. Never will see four. Some parts are a little strange in this one. This last slide, I'm just like, it's kind of strange the city just made there. But It was a decent turnout tonight for the film. I just wish it started a little bit earlier, like, actually on time. We get to start the film until like 8 o'clock ish because they almost played the wrong damn movie. It's good. I like it. It's far from perfect. Uh, can I give it a 7 out of 10? It's good. It's good. And everything needs to be Infinity War. It's like, yeah, I get what Gunn is going for with these other heroes. Like they kind of clash with their morals, and they're kind of inspired by Superman at the same time. Especially Guy Gardner, big surprise there. But yeah, I get what he's going for. I think could have been spaced out a little bit, maybe condensed, like I keep saying. But the roles they had in the film, they kind of worked, so you can't complain too much. Definitely check it out with your friends and family this weekend if you can. And yeah, that's about all I got, folks. So go on and check it out this weekend. It opens on the 11th. I gave it a 7 out of 10. So go check it out and see for yourself what you think. What do you think this new DC universe is going to go from here? How many Superman films do you think we can actually get this time around? Cavill only got one. So standouts for me are Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor. Corn Sweat's Superman is pretty good. I think the writing could have been a little bit better for him. Don't get me wrong, the film was definitely centered around him. There's some things I would have wanted to see. Like they keep talking about this conflict in the Middle East that's mentioned in the trailers. He said, "Oh, I stopped the war." Like I would have wanted to see that visually because that's something that I've always wanted to see. Panned out on screen. They, they took some comics mess with that storyline, like Earth One, in this he would deal with this warlord. I think it was in a dream sequence or something, but he actually goes to this foreign country. Sheriff tells the warlord, "You have no idea what power is. Let me show you." And I'm pretty sure he melted him because he's facing. That was it. That was Earth One, so I think it was a dream sequence or something. But yeah, I would have wanted to see that conflict play out in real time, so that I'm just talking about it. That sounded like something that would have been really cool to see visually. Like, oh, people were going to die. Like, well, I would have wanted to see that visually versus just being exposition. You don't need no origin story or nothing. I would have wanted to see more of what makes this particular version of Superman tick. If you want to go into a foreign country to stop a war or save people, I think we needed to see that visually versus the exposition. So hopefully next time around we'll get to see more of these interactions he has versus just talking about it or having it in an opening crawl or something. Someone says in the comments, so far people are liking the movie. Glad to see it in a good start. Yeah, it's getting pretty good reviews, from what I understand. And believe I'm giving it a decent review, which definitely for me is 7 out of 10, which is above average. They definitely have some work to do. Hopefully, the next couple of films are not as bloated as this one is. That's the only problem I have with it. There's a lot going on. That's always been my issue with not just DC, but for Marvel, Marvel was definitely earned because they started with smaller stories and they built two movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, movies like Infinity Wars. DC Studios has never really done that. They never had those building blocks in place for leading to something like Darkseid or Injustice or Crisis on Infinite Earths, something like that. TV shows actually did that sort of thing with the CW universe. I had like the Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, Black Lightning all connected in the same universe. And they all these different crossovers over the course of the seasons. Like Marvel's done that pretty well with the building blocks they had. Lately, Marvel has been kind of crap, but so far it looks like DC's in a step in the right direction. And just hoping going forward that there's less focus on stuffing these movies with too much and more on characters and development and smaller scale stories. Like I would have been fine with Metallo or Parasite. Like he's like, oh, we've been around for 3 years. And like, really? Like he's been around for 3 years, already getting his ass beat. I'm just like, that's why I always laugh when people try to like, oh, this is like the animated series. Like if this is the animated series, it would have been knocked across the city and knocked out cold. And then Batman would show up and save his wimpy ass. That's what happens all the time in animated series. All the time. Yeah, I'm happy for DC. I've been wanting to see a decent DC Studios film, and I think James Gunn has a good vision so far. I think he's trying to balance a little too much in this one. That's just me personally, as an author. I think it's easier to do that in books than it is on film. You could even see that with video game adaptations, like uh, like The Last of Us, for example. Not the best example, I guess, but let's just say for sake of time that the season two was rushed and they really could have fleshed it out a little bit more. But they didn't, and what we got was a shitty season two as a result. Ugh. It was like because when James Gunn announced his slate for these movies, there really would doesn't seem to be a didn't seem to be any type of linear plan for his gods and monsters slate thing. Because like he announced his when the studio was just getting relaunched. Let's take a look at this. So this is my point here because he's talking about Creature Commanders, which I didn't bother watching. And this product here is Amanda Waller. No one cares about Amanda Waller. The original title for the movie was Superman Legacy, which was a dumb title. Thankfully, he changed it. Lanterns, I'm looking forward to. I'd probably look forward more to Lanterns than I was to this movie because John Stewart's my favorite Green Lantern. I'm like, it's about bloody time. They're putting him on this on TV in live action. It's about bloody time. Now, my guess with Lanterns is that John and Hal are going to be investigating the anti-life equation. So they're probably going to be investigating the anti-life equation, which is connected to Darkseid. So I'm excited about that. I can't imagine them being on Earth for any other reason than that. But another comment: this movie is a general audience, so this will get more kids than Man of Steel. Yeah, probably. I'll tell you this: he doesn't murder anybody in the movie. Nobody's neck gets snapped, so I'm sure a lot of parents will be happy about that. Yeah, this will definitely do big numbers on the weekend. This is definitely a film like I think parents are gonna take their children to see. Some a little bit questionable language in the movie, but other than that, it's fine. Nothing that's too crazy, I would say. Like Corn Sweat embodies the character, so I like him with Superman. I like Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Again, he comes across as more of a brat than a straight up mastermind. And he's pretty intelligent. I could have done without the social media stuff. It was like this. This is the problem with the modern era. Like I don't go to movies to be reminded of what's going on the internet. The type of shit Superman does, flying around the globe in a freaking nanosecond. He ain't looking online for nothing. But he says in the movie, "Oh, Superman ain't got time for selfies." Like, yeah, when is he gonna have time to take a damn selfie? Or he was trying to stop the Empire State Building from collapsing or something in New York City or wherever he's going. Don't have time around that. The fault of Man of Steel, it was originally a standalone. Superman has the benefit of already being a universe. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of history in Superman, and I think Gunn is trying to incorporate that in the film. I think that's why he had so many other heroes. It works in the movie. It works in the movie. I could have done without so many. And there's not that many, but it's like I would have preferred to just be at least one. If anything, you could have just had like a rivalry between him and Green Lantern and save Hawk Girl and everybody else for Justice League. Just like I know in the comics, Batman despises how Guy Gardner, and he's punched him a couple of times in the face. So, if anything, I'm looking forward to seeing that on the big screen. That should be very fun to play around with. Yeah, Man of Steel was a lot darker in tone. This is definitely a lot colorful. Like he's fighting big ass monsters in the middle of the city. There's pocket universes and interdimensional stuff. A lot of random stuff you would be dealing with in the 1930s cartoons back in the day. So there's a lot of history put into this, the comics. Man of Steel was kind of its own thing, as this comment says. The fault of Man of Steel was it was originally standalone. Mr. Terrific is better than Cyborg to me because Cyborg is Teen Titan. Yeah, in New 52 he is a League member, but yeah, he doesn't. I never believe Cyborg belonged on the JL. You can have Martian Manhunter in the role he has, as being like the tech guy, or the guy behind the curtain. Because Lee John Jones is still immensely powerful, so if someone attacks the watchtower, he can just mess them up without even touching them. Cyborg, I don't know what really Cyborg can really do, instead of like, using computer technology, I guess. But it's like that thing that kind of annoyed me in the previous universe. This is part of why it was such a mess in the Snyder universe. Was they had like what Flash, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aqua Guy, Cyborg, Superman was dead at that point in that awful universe. So they didn't have the big guns. So they had like a bunch, like at least four members from JL. Four. And the comics has been quite a lineup of different heroes that didn't even make light of day because it's such a barren universe back in that previous Snyder universe, whatever they called it. So right there, I think James Gunn's universe has the advantage by establishing literally in the opening that there's these metahumans have been around for decades and centuries, and I'm like, oh wow. So that right there, I think, makes it legions better than the Snyder universe. Why did they need to kill Superman in the second appearance? It took decades for him to die in the comics. Yeah, I don't know. Snyder wanted to do the same thing with Batman. He wanted to kill Batman and have Lois have a kid or something. I don't think Snyder really read the comics because that doesn't happen. Like when Superman died, it was a big deal. Like everybody came to his funeral because Superman was so beloved. Everybody knew Superman, and up until then, major characters never got killed off. Even Batman showed up at his funeral. But like in the Snyder universe, nobody liked him, so there was no reason for anybody to mourn. Nobody liked him. You've been trying to save people's lives the entirety of Man of Steel, and nobody liked him. Yeah, Superboy and Steel was around when Superman died. Yeah, they had the reign of Superman, the clones. Steel, Superboy, Eradicator. I think Bizarro was one of them too. But that was a fun little time. When I actually have the Superman comic somewhere in my collection, and the novelization as well. Because like when Superman fought Doomsday, that was a pretty big deal. And ever since Superman was killed in the comics, every hero has been killed at least once. Spider Man's died, Batman's died, Flash. I think it was Wally, not Barry. People always get those two confused. Green Lantern die all the time. So, when Superman died, I wanted him to add Superboy, but they just brought him back. Yeah, I don't know if they would have. I don't know if the. I don't know if that would have worked in the previous universe. It probably could work here because they have Ultraman, not the actual Ultraman. Ultraman in the comics is an alternate dimension Superman, and this he's just a clone of Superman from his DNA. Because again, he's been around for decades, so Luthor was able to get a sample of the DNA, which explains how he was just able to walk into the Fortress of Solitude. I'm like, how in the world? And it's funny because every Luthor that's ever been on live action has been to the Fortress of Solitude, except for John Schaff and Lois and Clark, because Dinky never had a Fortress of Solitude. Michael Rosenbaum's been to the Fortress. Kevin Spacey's been to the Fortress of Solitude. Um, Nicholas Holt, the newest Luthor, has been to the Fortress. Yeah, they've all been to the Fortress except for uh, Kevin. The Luthor from the animated series never went to the Fortress because it was in the Arctic and it was literally underwater, which I always liked because it's like, well, it's tough for people to access it if it's actually underwater, which I thought was actually kind of smart with them. And there was another Lex Luthor from the Superman Lois series. He never went to the Fortress, but he eventually figured out Clark's identity and all that. James Gunn is writing another project. Doesn't want to say what, but I can't wait for it. Probably a Superman sequel. He might be writing the new Batman film featuring Damian Wayne. I guess we won't know for a little while. I imagine it's going to take a while for the next Superman film to be made. See, we'll see how this one does with the box office this weekend. I think it's off to a strong start. I enjoyed it, and I gave it a 7 out of 10. Welcome, everybody in the chat room. Maverick Defender says, hey, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Having a little discussion here about the new Superman film. No spoilers, but is it better than Hancock Will Smith? Yeah. I don't know if I would really compare it to that, though. 'Cause Hancock is more of a parody of comic book characters. It's like, I don't want to say a ripoff, but like, it's kind of a parody of Better Than Shazam. Mm, first one? Or the second? I never saw the second. Never seen Jurassic World Rebirth. No, I have not. I made it a point to not bother with any of the Jurassic Planet movies. But I don't understand how those movies keep getting made. I know they're money makers, but like the original is the best. I'm good with Gunn writing projects. His projects might just be the most important parts. Yeah, doesn't want anyone to mess it up. Yeah, I get it. Unfortunately, when even though he's the head of the studio, that can also become a problem. Just look at Star Wars prequels with George Lucas. I think he had too much control, which is why people had an issue with those movies. I think if Gunn has someone co-writing, it could be even better going forward. So he's not having everything on his shoulders because that can become overwhelming, and that can lead to some disastrous results. Is Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer underrated? Underrated? Uh, Parts of it are okay. I don't remember that much from it. That was what 2007 or something. That was like almost 15 years ago. I remember being in, I think it was in high school when that came out. It might have been what sophomore high school. Are you more of a DC fan or Marvel? I'm gonna go with DC, despite my avatar. Obviously, I'm just a comic book fan, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with DC. Phase 4 and 5 of the MCU was a game of cameos. Yeah, there are more cameos in your movie than more money you make. Yeah, I mean, yeah. The only MCU movies to make more than 900 million post Endgame were all cameo fests. Yeah, I agree. Far From Home was immediately post Endgame, like WandaVision. So I'd use, yeah. Marvel's been like limping along since Endgame, unfortunately. The last two Deadpool movies didn't make a billion because they didn't have so many cameos like Blade. No, Deadpool Wolverine was pretty good, but yeah, it was definitely a cameo fest. But just because it was kind of a parody, that's what Deadpool does. So I got no issues with that. And with Spider-Man, the part of the deal with Spider-Man and Marvel is that the agreement is to have one Marvel character in every one of his films with Tom Holland. That's just part of the arrangement. Otherwise, we just have another barren Spider-Man universe where everyone comes from Oscorp for some nonsense. All the Phase 4 and 5 movies that flopped had no cameos or very small cameos. Hmm. People say Batman versus Spider-Man, but Mr. Terrific is smarter. Yeah, they show off his intelligence in the Superman movie. It's just a gaming channel. I do a little bit of a little variety. There's definitely some gaming videos I do. I started off doing random videos back in 2013, and it kind of evolved into a gaming channel primarily. I do talk about comic book stuff and pop culture once in a while. Now that finally got StreamYard to back up, I'll probably be doing that a little bit more often. I've got things called a series called Marvel Monday and Arkham Tuesday and Thursday. Marvel Monday usually plays Spider-Man games, Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, Guardians of the Galaxy, Morales, Spider-Man 2. And Arkham Tuesday and Thursday is mostly the Arkham games. And I also play Gotham Knights. I know it's not in the Arkham universe, but it's still DC. So there aren't that many DC games out these days. I wish I could play Arkham Origins on the channel. That's an underrated game in the series. For Marvel Monday, I played Guardians of the Galaxies, Midnight Suns, Lego Marvel Superheroes, Lego Avengers, Spider-Man Remastered, Morales, Spider-Man 2. Yeah, like Superman, I liked it. Gave it a 7 out of 10. It's above average. It has some problems, but it's not anything that's going to make or break it. It's gonna do great numbers, is what we're gonna tell you that. The main thing it has going for it is that it's not dark and gloomy like it's not dark and gloomy like the Man of Steel universe. So kids can actually go with their parents and not have to worry about someone's neck being snapped, which is kind of nice. Who should be the new Wonder Woman? I don't know if he has any contenders yet. I know he was going to say he's working on the new Wonder Woman, so we'll have to see where that goes. New James Bond. I think James Bond needs to take a break for a couple of years. Personally, I don't want to see James Bond anytime soon, especially after the last one. You watch The Boys? Yeah, I've seen The Boys. Last season wasn't great, so I'm a little nervous about season five. Just, I think they kind of destroyed Billy Butcher in the last season. Like the one character I wanted to see have powers, and they just made his powers completely lame. I'm like, what are you doing? Funny Gun and Snyder was in the new Rick and Morty episode. Huh, that right. Invincible, yeah, Invincible has gotten better. Mark Grayson's balls have finally dropped. He's no longer a puss like he was in the first season. Finally gave him the blue and black suit. I'm looking forward to seeing. I was like, this kid kind of grow up hair. Goes like, I know his father's crazy, but like, I'm thinking of myself. I'm like, dude, kill or be killed, man. You can't play nice with these crazy ass villains. Can't. Like, so I think sometimes I think these superheroes out these days just have these flimsy ass moral codes. When DC finally beat Marvel, uh, I think they have a shot at getting ahead of Marvel now. Fantastic looks like shit, in my opinion. I don't care if they got Galactus or not. I don't think it's going to be. Fantastic Four is not going to save Marvel. I'll say that right now. It's not going to happen. Yeah, they have a shot at getting ahead in the race with James Gunn. I think James Gunn is a visionary. He's a good director. Um, and Superman, he's proven that he can balance these characters out pretty well. Too much Pedro. Yeah, I think he's miscast as Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic is a pretty important character in Marvel Comics. I don't think he can pull it off. I think he just looks like he's just cosplaying the character. Because even in the Last of Us, he's kind of a wimp as Joel, at least in the second season. It was like, yeah, I think could have done better casting for Mr. Fantastic. This new Mandalorian movie is out. No, Mandalorian and Grogu. Yeah, that's the movie I want to see. Not John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't just lock him down. I don't know why I didn't just lock him down. Like they had him in the Doctor Strange multiverse madness or whatever it's called. It was great casting. I'm like, why you just keep him in the role? What are you doing? One of the dumbest decisions they've ever freaking made was getting rid of Krasinski or not getting him under a new contract because he ain't doing that much now. Maybe he just didn't want to be bound to Marvel as they're on a rapidly sinking ship these days. Do you think Doomsday will be good? I think he's got a shot at being good. It depends. I think it depends on what the roster is. Like, let's see. We might have Spider Man. I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. See, I think Chris Hemsworth has signed the contract, so he's probably going to be back at Thor. Hopefully, we got Shang Chi. Don't know what's going on with Iron Chick, whatever her name is. That show is awful. We're gonna have the Fantastic Four. Probably gonna have some Guardians, maybe. Hopefully, we'll have the X-Men at some point. Um, Maybe we'll get Deadpool. Don't know. We'll probably have Hawkeye, the new Captain America, without the super serum, U.S. Agent, um, Bucky Barnes. Pascal's tool from It's a Fantastic. Yeah, that's probably part of it. If they were going for the Ultimate Comics, they should have gone younger, for Mr. Fantastic in particular. In the Ultimate Comics, the team is a lot younger than they are portrayed in the trailers. I never saw Love and Thunder, so Sasha Cohen is Mephisto. Yeah, Mephisto in the Ironheart show. Good lord. They wasted another amazing character in the D list TV show. Good gravy. Is she gone? I thought I heard a rumor she's coming back. Yeah, Natasha is gone, but they have her sister, the blonde chick. I don't remember her name, but they could always bring in a variant of Wanda. Now they got the multiverse. Hmm. Yeah, isn't Pedro in his 60s or something? So like they got old ass Harrison Ford playing Thunderbolt Ross. I'm like, no offense, but how many appearances are we going to have from the Red Hulk? And he's not hasn't even fought Banner. Got him fighting a freaking D-list Captain America without the serum. Should have been squawked like a bug. That's why the movie is so dumb. I'm like, there's no world where Sam Wilson overpowers the Red Hulk or anybody really. Why did Thunderbolts flop? It was just a terrible idea to make a movie like that anyway. It's not even a real Thunderbolts team, first off. I think they call the New Avengers or something. Like, yeah, okay. None of those characters are Avengers. Never been Avengers in the comics. And to call them New Avengers is kind of an insult to the actual New Avengers team. Never been many teams in the comics. Elizabeth Olsen is playing a different character in Vision Quest. Yeah, they're probably going to have variants going forward. Yeah, I heard about the bringing the OG X-Men actors back. I think that's a good idea. They're getting up there, man. Yeah, Patrick Stewart is an older gentleman. Ian McKellen is also an older gentleman. He says he wants to play Gandalf again. I'm like, it's not probably not going to happen, pal. With Gunn, we might get lesser known like Static Shock. Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, at least get somebody else with powers. Static Shock would be awesome to see. Black Lightning would be cool to see. Green Arrow, Black Canary, Booster Gold, dare I say. Like in Justice League Unlimited, they had a lot of characters that most people don't know from the comics that got a little bit of spotlight. It would be nice to see them on the big screen. In that case, I can see why you put Mr. Terrific in the movie. So that part I get, but still, I would have preferred Wonder Woman or the Flash. If you're gonna have that type of film, at least give me someone I care about. Hmm. Thoughts on recasting Black Panther? I think the Black Panther is a very important character that should have been recast before Lone Ross was recast. Especially with the multiverse, there's really no excuse at this point. So many actors that could portray T'Challa brilliantly, like the late Chadwick Boseman did, and I think it's a missed opportunity because killing him off was a terrible mistake. As was just having a funeral in the middle of the film, not for the character but for the actor. It was inappropriate and really out of place. And number two, Black Panther's a king, so there's there's no excuse at this point for treating the character so poorly. Especially since he barely has any doesn't do that much in the MCU. He's the most screen time he has in Civil War. That's the most he has to do in the entirety of the MCU. Post credit scene, yeah, there are post credit scenes. Two of them, they're really not worth waiting for though. One is Superman and Krypto on the moon, and the other one is after the credits. Superman and Mr. Trip looking at a building or something. Kind of a waste of time, really. The one on the moon is actually kind of cool. Cool thing is Static Shock doesn't stay teen. Yeah, he actually grows up, and I think they just call him Static now. The bad thing is Spider-Man is he is only good young. Well, there are some interesting comics where Peter grows up and has children with Mary Jane. We haven't seen it on screen yet, so I can see why people would be used to that. Supergirl, yeah, she makes an appearance at the very end. Crypto is her dog, so she comes back to get Crypto, and he's going to be in her movie. Lobo and Jason Momoa. I don't know. I think he's been confirmed to be in the Supergirl film. Miss Mason, he said he's an alien bounty hunter, so that would make sense. That would be kind of cool to see. I think Momoa looks exactly like him, so that's great casting on James Gunn's part. He'll be better as Lobo than he was Aqua Guy. Say that right now. It's like the problem with Spider-Man is that a lot of the writers that have acquired the character don't understand that he's not Peter Pan. He grows up, he gets married, he has children, and he deals with more adult problems like anybody else. He's not this little kid who doesn't grow up. He's not a freaking loser. He's one of the smartest dudes in the freaking MCU and the Marvel Comics. He can be in the room with Tony Stark, Reed Richards, Hank Pym, and Hank McCoy and be the smartest one out of all. Jason Momoa said he expected a Lobo. When Steiner said Aquaman, he was surprised. Man, I bet he was. 'Cause, he was miscast as Aquaman. I'll tell you that right now. He was miscast as Aquaman. First off, Aquaman, Arthur Curry, the blonde. So that was the first mistake. Arthur Curry's always been a blonde. Momoa is not. And the movie actually did pretty well. But yeah, Arthur Curry is a blonde, not a brunette. Like to this day, I still can't believe that the Black Panther hasn't been recast. It's kind of strange because a lot of people out there think that African people look the same anyway. So it should be the easiest role in the world to recast. That's the ironic part, I think. It's like it was so simple to recast them and just use the multiverse and just keep going. Like there's really no excuse at this point. Jason Momoa has short hair in Baywatch. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes actors make different decisions. Sometimes they improvise with their roles. Are we getting Blade in the MCU? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Blade movie. They keep saying it's been delayed or doing reshoots or it's been taken off the slate. Should be in the works. Mahershala Ali has stated his frustration with the filming progress. He made a brief appearance in Eternals at the very end. You only hear his voice, but I'm just dying to know if they reveal Ultimate identity. And they've been shocking without revealing who it is specifically. Um, it is revealed in the film. I won't say what it is, but it's in the film. It's it's cool. It's a cool scene. It's a pretty cool fight sequence. I think you'll enjoy it. Yeah. Definitely stay away from the reviews the next couple of days because people will be talking about it ad nauseum. So stay offline until you see the film. War Machine was recast without explanation, so Black Panther, yeah. They recast War Machine in the second film of Iron Man. Uh, Iron Man 1 was what, 2008 or something? Iron Man 2 was like, what, 2 years later? Anyways, anytime recasting War Machine, yeah, no problem. Yeah, definitely stay offline until you see the movie. This is going to be an amazing weekend for Superman. I'm telling you that right now. Do you think Avatar 3 will make another 2 billion? Probably. I'm not a fan of the Avatar movies, so can't say for sure, but they do pretty well at the box office. I think that was one of the first 3D films that was actually made, so it's got a shot at doing pretty well whenever the next one comes out. 2 billion? Yeah, maybe. Might get Super X workout clothes, Superman workout clothes is coming. Yeah. So I wore my Superman shirt to the theater. A lot of people wear Superman shirts on this evening. A lot of Superman fans out there. I'll say this: I think Cornsworth does the character justice. The Nicholas Hoult is fantastic as Lex Luthor. Rachel Brosnahan is great as Lois Lane. She looks like she walked right out of the animated series. Sadly, she doesn't have purple eyes. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for that, but yeah, I'll take it. She even wears purple and black, like in the cartoons. Yeah, War Machine. I don't know when they recast War Machine. They probably had it like immediately because shit, what's his name? Don Cheadle was recast immediately. This is why I've been so confused about the Black Panther not being recast as quickly. It's like how difficult could it possibly be to recast a character who's not only a king, but well, pretty important character in the comics, and I think he's been underutilized in the films, unfortunately. Now, speaking of Iron Chick or Iron or whatever she's called, where in the world is Rhodey? This crazy little broad is flying around, stealing and robbing and letting people die while wearing the Iron Man armor, and Rhodey's nowhere to be seen. There's no military presence, nothing. The military will be all over her ass. She was actually doing this. She's in Chicago, but still. It's like, where's the military? How is she able to just fly around unsanctioned without the military getting involved? So dumb. And Miss Edward Norton Hulk with the smart Hulk. Yeah. The only problem with Edward Norton was that he was not written as a team player, which is part of why they recast. Mark Ruffalo's version fits better with the Avengers universe. Edward Norton was a great standalone Hulk, but for the broader universe, recasting I think was probably the best move because of the way he was written in Incredible Hulk would never work with the Avengers. And Norton wanted to have more say in how it was written, so it's unfortunate, but I guess if you just look at it as a standalone story, it's fine. But yeah, Professor Hulk, yeah, I agree. It's not really working for me personally. And everybody wants to see Professor Hulk. But, yeah, I know. I think that we should have gotten a Thanos Hulk rematch, the Endgame. Just saying it never happened. That would have been pretty cool to see. Edward Norton should try a solo trilogy with DC. Yeah, maybe. Don't know who he would play in DC, but just once I'd like to get an actual trilogy from one of these characters besides Captain America and Iron Man and Ant-Man, surprisingly. And I'm kind of hoping that this Superman is the first of a trilogy, but it doesn't look like James Gunn has any type of actual linear map for that happening, at least not yet. So like I mentioned, the Lantern show is probably going to be dealing with the anti-life equation, which is connected to Darkseid. That's always been his obsession in the comics. It's like it's kind of like searching for immortality or something. That's basically his thing. Unlike Thanos, he doesn't need a gauntlet to be menacing, you know. So that could be interesting. Curious to see where we're going to go with that. Very curious, actually. Because John Stewart's my favorite Lantern. I can see Edward Norton doing Elseworlds Riddler, not Matt Reeves. Eh, maybe. I guess you have to be Earth One Riddler or something. We've seen the Goofy Riddler with Jim Carrey, and then Crazy Guy, who's more like Tommy Elliott than Riddler in the Matt Reeves universe. So I guess technically we didn't really get the Riddler. We kind of got like a mix of Tommy Elliott and the Riddler. It was like Tommy Elliott because he had the face thing over his face, the mask. It was like a hush mask, but he called himself the Riddler. So I'm like, do we really get the Riddler? Or do we get Hush wearing a Riddler skin? Because now they can't do Hush in that universe because we kind of did it right. Maybe more like in the Arkham games. Yeah, yeah. Yes, Riddler in Arkham games. I want to say it's more comic book accurate, kind of its own thing, but yeah, he's more Arkham Riddler is more akin to the comics than the Reed universe. That's for damn sure. I can see Norton pulling that off with good writing. So yeah, I definitely will do Green Arrow. Yeah, I would like to see Green Arrow in this DC universe at some point. Green Arrow, Black Canary, the new Flash, not that weirdo Miller guy, whatever his name is. Wonder Woman, like an actual actress that can actually act. I'm not looking forward to seeing Damian Wayne. I don't like Damian Wayne, Robin, at all. I'm kind of dreading seeing that character in live action because he's just a terrible character. It could work, I guess, with good writing. Like, I just hope Dinko doesn't take it upon himself to write everything in the DC universe. Otherwise, he's going to get overwhelmed pretty fast. Constantine, yeah, maybe. He's got some range, so like he can probably play a dark character. I can see him doing it. If they ever go into that mystical, darker territory with DC, I can see him doing that. The first chapter is called Gods and Monsters, so Constantine deals with the underworld type of stuff. So see where that goes. Because like I mentioned, that the CW universe had all these crossovers with the TV shows. They had Black Lightning, Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, and all these shows. They all crossed over like the '90s Spider-Man X-Men shows crossed over once in a while. Where they had the eight-armed Spider-Man storyline, and X-Men showed up. Wolverine thought that Spider-Man captured Beast or something. It's hilarious back in the day. Plastic Man, it'd be tricky to do and make it believable. I guess not. Plastic Man is kind of a silly character, so if they're going in that direction, I can see maybe him being in just Justice League, or at least have him make an appearance at the Hall of Justice or something. Doesn't need to be like a literal field agent or anything, but and they got Blue Beetle out there somewhere. I completely forgot that movie existed. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. Elongated Man. Yeah, they're about they're kind of in the same ballpark. They're both kind of silly characters. So I think Gunn is going for a more wacky, comic booky universe than the previous one. Not that the Snyderverse didn't follow the comics, but it was a little too dark in the previous universe. Like Superman is supposed to be a brooding, mopey dude. Batman's thing. It was like every other bloody scene. It's like it's all completely devoid of color and it's like my world blew up and I'm the only one of my kind. Bleh. Illegal alien. I'm gonna take you down. I'm like, yeah, how do you plan to do that? Well, I will say I would have wanted to see Jason Todd in that universe in a Under the Red Hood film starring Ben Affleck's Batman. That would have been cool. I don't know if they can pull that off in this new universe. Damon Wayne can be kind of a darker character. I mean, he's a freaking assassin for crying out loud. So, I kind of yearn for a Batman universe with the actual Lazarus Pit. Not that they overdo it or anything, but I've always wanted to see the Lazarus Pit in a Batman series, especially on the big screen. Like the Nolan movies don't count as far as that as goes because they tried to personify it with this. You fall into this hole and you come out stronger. It's a metaphor for the Lazarus Pit, but that didn't work for me. All this grounded crap. These characters that fight freaks and monsters trying to ground them. Like, yeah. No. Although I kind of like seeing a Superman that can get injured. I think it's kind of interesting. Because the problem with these super powerful characters is that when they're that powerful and nothing really hurts them, it's tough. They're tougher to write. Clayface is after Supergirl. I think that's awesome. I guess we'll see. If it's the actor version of Clayface, it could be a horror film or something, I guess. But after seeing Superman, I'm kind of excited for Supergirl. Not to give everything away, but I think this is going to be a very comedic, very different Supergirl than what we're used to. And I doubt she's going to be coming flying out of the water this time around. As far as Clayface, if it's the Basil Carlo actor version, they can make it a horror film, which could be kind of cool. I wish they would wait till they establish their Batman first before jumping into a villain film. Unless it's Elseworlds. If it's Elseworlds, then by all means go all out. If it's supposed to be connected to the DC universe, whatever the linear plan is, Tom Reed's Harry's is playing Clayface. Another spot on casting. Interesting. Yeah, I think Supergirl's called Woman of Tomorrow or something. I bought a couple of Supergirl comics a while ago. I don't remember where I put them, but they're somewhere in my collection. It's like Supergirl is Kara is she doesn't have the same moral compass that Clark does on everything. She's more of a loose cannon, so that can be kind of interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see in this new universe how James Gunn handles that going forward. Again, I kind of hope that he doesn't write everything. I just don't want them to become overwhelmed. It was called that, but they pulled another Superman. It's called Supergirl. Yeah, I think the subtitle would have been cool for Supergirl in particular. I guess see why I pulled away from Superman, but Supergirl, I think Woman of Tomorrow would have been kind of a cool subtitle. Just to keep it interesting, keep it fresh. Like even Last Daughter of Krypton or something would have been cool. Because, she's older than him, so but yeah, Crypto is her dog, so he'll probably be in her film. Makes more sense than him being in this one, honestly. In my opinion, anyway. It's like no spoilers, but yeah, it's it was an interesting decision putting Crypto in this. I think it's cool they shortened it so theaters don't cut off when you see it on the schedule. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, all right. If that's the reason, yeah, I still think it would be cool to have subtitles like TMNT Secret of the Ooze or something. I guess in the '90s it was easier to do that because that was all the rave back then. Like he's got an interesting slate lined up for the DCU. I think he even mentioned the authorities getting a film or something. Like I might be so bold. I think the authorities should be on TV because I haven't really read that many authority comics, but I know they got a lot of history in the comics. You can't really do them justice in a 2 hour film. It's just one of those things that you just have to really think about carefully, especially with your general audience. Gunn says Peacemaker season 2 is important to the universe, but not confusing if you don't watch it. Peacemaker kind of surprised me last season. It was alright. I don't really follow Peacemaker comics, but I might tune in for an episode or two. No idea where they're going with it, but I think Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner will make an appearance in that show for some reason. No idea why, but I don't know what his actual plan is for this universe. Not after seeing Superman, I'm kind of left scratching my head like, where do we go from here? I don't even know what the next film is. I'm guessing Supergirl. And that would make the most sense. Establish her Kryptonians, and then go from there. Like the rumors are true, then Lobo will be in the Supergirl film. I was watching a animated Superman movie, Man of Tomorrow, on HBO, and Lobo makes an appearance in the movie, along with Metallo and Parasite. And that's the kind of stuff I would want to see on the big screen. Superman versus Parasite, Superman versus Metallo. Characters that he can actually beat the crap out of and like almost not hold back. Not confirmed to be in the universe, but a Mr. Miracle adult animated show is confirmed. I mean, as long as it's a TV show, I guess there's no harm. But I'm not really from. Oh, Mr. Miracle. Oh, wow. I think I know what that is. I think he's in the Justice League cartoons. He's in one of the shows from the 90s and the 2000s. Because he has ties to the New Gods and Orion and Darkseid and all that. That could be cool. That could be how they introduce Apocalypse. That could be cool. I could see myself tuning into that. That could be really cool. They could introduce Darkseid. They could introduce the Sod, the Calibac, Granny Goodness. All those characters could be fleshed out and developed in that show, that type of show. Because that's all connected to the New Gods and Darkseid. I'd rather just see a show about the New Gods and just establish that way, because Orion is Darkseid's adopted son in the comics. Unless they made that up for the 90s Superman show. It's probably different in the actual comics than the show. I have no idea. It's like Superman animated series isn't my favorite adaptation of the character. I think they're always written very poorly. Now that Crypto is getting liked in the Superman movie, it was good they did Crypto shorts. Yeah, I can see him being. I think he's getting pretty popular. He'll be even more popular in the Supergirl film, I'm sure. And when I first saw the trailers for this movie, I got chills when Crypto showed up. I'm like, oh wow, 'cause he's very old school in that way. Like Golden Silver Age. I'm still kind of shocked he was in the movie at all. Kind of worked. Like it wasn't terrible or anything. Just, again, I think he's definitely going for a lighter tone. That's definitely true with Crypto in the movie. The shorts might show a relationship with Supergirl. Probably. He's our dog, so she grew up on Krypton, and I'm sure Crypto was in the pod with her when she left the planet. So seeing that dynamic could definitely that could be cool. Like the Mr. Miracle show. That might have my attention now because of his connection to the New Gods and the Darkseid. That that could be really cool. I would prefer it to be live action, but I'm not sure where the budget is and why they picked that particular character. But because he's connected to the New Gods and Darkseid, especially diehard comic book fans, that could definitely get a decent audience involved in watching that show. Hopefully, it gets renewed for a couple of seasons when it finally launches. Other than Lobo, I'm not entirely sure what else is going to be going on in the Supergirl film. As Clark mentions, are in the film. She does make an appearance. They kind of establish exactly who she is in that one little scene, which I'm not going to share for obvious reasons. But let's just say they pretty much explain exactly who she is in her brief little appearance. And I think it works. But again, this is definitely a lighter tone for Universe. Superman fighting giant monsters in the middle of the city in the middle of the day, that pretty much gives it away. That's a lighter tone. Animated would work for them taking their time making the suits and the sets. Yeah. The thing is, animation takes a long time to do. So, unless they already penciled everything and hand things into the animators, hopefully, we won't be waiting too long for it to be released online. That's why I say that live action would probably be better. Maybe it's possible animation could be better. You definitely do more with animation than live action. Budgets would be the main reason to do it in animation form. Again, because if we're talking about the new gods, talking about an entire planet of these characters, including characters like Orion and Apocalypse, which will probably be featured at some point. Because again, this could be how they introduce Darkseid, because the Green Lantern show will more than likely be about the Lanterns investigating the anti-life equation. I can't think of anything else that would involve Green Lanterns on Earth, so that's got to be it. Fortunately, we don't know anything else about the story just yet. No, the casting has been pretty brilliant for Lanterns so far. Aaron Pierre, I think his name is, cast as John Stewart. It's like a Walker out of the comics and just in the JL cartoon in the 2000s. Brilliant casting. Hal Jordan, brilliant casting. We got Guy Gardner already established. Pretty spot on, so no problems there. I've always wanted to see Kyle Rayner in live action, so hopefully he'll make an appearance as well. And there's 4 lanterns that guard Earth, so I mean, why not? Animation is a good test to see what the audience is interested in. Then make live action. Yeah. I mean, he said that he's going to have the same actors play the characters in animation and live action, so yeah, that could work. It was like, I don't know how good Creature Commanders was, but I didn't recognize any of those characters in Superman, so they probably got cut out of the movie, thankfully. There's more than enough going on already, so. But those of you that haven't seen the film, Superman film, try and stay offline until you see it. Like the usual channels are going to be talking ad nauseum. Like Geeks and Gamers, for example, are going to be talking their little crap out of it. And then Friday Night Tights, if anyone watches that, they'll be doing a straight up spoiler review by the time the weekend comes along. So just be aware that a lot of these channels are going to be talking about this stuff. And they'll warn you when they do spoilers, but just stay away from certain parts of the internet until you see it for yourself. Yeah, Rick Flag is in there. I guess he was in that show too. I think he was. So it must have been the same actor that did the voice. Uh, Frank Grillo, I think his name is. So he must have did the voice. That's why he was cast. So yeah, I guess they had a connective tissue from that show after all. So that's kind of cool. Doesn't do much in the movie, but kind of surprised by that actually. They probably got more plans for him down the line, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. We're kind of excited to see what they're going to do next in the forthcoming years. Yeah, that's about all I got for tonight, my friends. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And yeah, if you haven't seen the film yet, go check it out this weekend. Let's support this movie. I want to see more of these comic book films. These films that actually adapt the comics properly, unlike the messy Snyderverse. So yeah, let's support this movie. Let's support James Gunn. I think he actually pulled it off. He proved me wrong, that's for sure. And I'm actually kind of proud to admit that I was wrong. He actually did it. I think he did it. Uh, I think he did it. So yeah,